When I was 12 years old, I started getting sexualized by the boys at my high school. And no, I'm not some super genius, I'm just Canadian, so it would be junior high for you guys. So, yes, at just 12 years old, they went around saying that I was easy, that I'd do anything they wanted as long as they dated me. And that same rumor would evolve and shift every single year. This may be a shock to you, but this and much worse has happened to me and all the women around me. And why did this trend start? All because I said no to a boy who liked me. Let me introduce you to the male gaze, a theory invented by scholar Laura Mulvey in the mid-70s, one which empowers men and objectifies women. This concept has since been able to be applied to the way we live our day-to-day lives. Now, let's look at some examples of the male gaze. We see the sexualization of women in the media, at work, and at school. Locker room talk has left those four walls and is now everywhere. Here are some commercials that we've seen throughout the years. Pita steak sauce, Bud Light, and Carl's Jr. Burger. All of these are targeted to a male audience, and this may seem harmless, but it does give us a perspective on how our society may view things. So how do we break this pattern in order to ensure a better future for our children? Well, it's not a simple answer, but I do have a few ideas. This isn't new at all. In fact, Budweiser has recently come out with some ads that some may seem as sexist from the 50s. They later changed it to empower women instead. So in 1962, she's cooking and he's drinking beer. In 2019, she's unwinding with some takeout and some beer. In 1958, she's pouring him a beer and he's holding tools. And in 2019, they can both enjoy a beer together. Now, I know what a lot of you may be thinking. This is all great, but what does it have to do with us? Well, the side effects of the male gaze are pretty scary and very common. Locker room talk can peer pressure and prime men into objectifying women, which feeds into the struggles that we have to live with every day. Now, this is in no way intended to bring down men because they are also victims of the male gaze. Society may tell you you need to be a real man. Drink beer, be buff, have high energy, and most of all, have all the women you want. This can cause emasculation and very toxic men who give in to the male gaze. Now, would men not have to change or hide in silence at the fear of seeming like less of a man if it weren't for the male gaze? Well, there tends to be a pressure to conform to these aggressive, emotionally unattached societal norms. It's not good for one's self-esteem, that's for sure. And it can impact how a man expresses himself entirely. I mean, have you seen the Ken movie? So yes, this is all great, but being a woman could be a lot most of the time. I never walk alone in public at night. I always cover up, and I still never feel at ease really, and this doesn't stop the catcalls either way. In fact, that happened to me yesterday. So, yeah, the psychological effects of the male gaze may include body image issues. The constant portrayal of women in the media can be brutal for a lot of women. And while these internalized high beauty standards can trigger poor self-image, low self-esteem, and even eating disorders, especially in the younger women. Now, the sexualization of women's bodies in the media and even their clothing choices can impact the way a woman dresses entirely at the fear of being objectified or even assaulted. The male gaze also impacts negatively relationships and power imbalances. The constant portrayal of heterosexual relationships and intimacy in the media gives a lot of control, shows a lot of control and dominance on the man's behalf. And this can make it seem okay and natural to treat women certain ways. And it can trigger unhappiness and even danger in some situations. So as we see, this concept does affect our mental health, from depression to anxiety to even self-harm in both men and women, especially in their younger years. Now, this is a lot of information, so let me paint you a picture. You're growing up, and being a girl, you're expected to act, look, and think a certain way. You need to be thin but curvy, but not too thin or too curvy, or else you're unwanted. We may tell you that you need to be sensitive and emotional, but not too sensitive or too emotional, or else you're mentally unwell. If you don't choose others first, you are a bad woman and you are selfish. And if you dress too provocatively, you shouldn't expect men to have control around you, and you asked for it. If you're too career-driven, you're heartless. And this is without mentioning the groomers, the predators, and the bullies, and even misogynistic bosses. You are a woman, expected to reach for success, do all errands, be perfect all the time, or else we label you. So we explored the concept of the male gaze and its far-reaching implications on our lives. It's crucial to note that not everybody is affected in the same ways, but the power of awareness cannot be underestimated. We can make a difference by spreading awareness, either to the minds of our youth, to the media, and even our inner circles. And I urge you to note that it is important to be in touch with yourself, maybe even shed the inner male gaze that may have held you back. You have the power to take control of your life and define it on your own terms. Because as adults, it is our responsibility to understand these issues and provide our youth with the knowledge and resilience that they deserve. Had we all been taught at a younger age, either in sex ed or another class, what it means to be a woman in today's society and how to stand up for ourselves as people, maybe those boys wouldn't have started the rumors in the first place. And it would have prevented a lot of other situations, not only for me, but for everyone. Now, as we unleash from the male gaze's grip, we unlock a future where women's status in society and equality is not only aspiration, but it is a reality. So, let's embark on this journey of change together and ensure a better future for our children and a safer world for them. Thank you.